Again, welcome to Ocala Talks. Hey, I got a text message saying, Tom, you don't not cutting these kids much slack with this expulsion. Okay, 15 kids were fighting either on the school bus or on school grounds to the point where it was enough for them to be brought up by the superintendent for expulsion. So these weren't just a couple punches thrown and then the teacher steps in to break it up and it's done. But let's just put those 15 to the side, okay? Put those 15 to the side. There was weapons brought on campus, drugs being sold on campus, kids smoking, vape penning on campus, vape penning CBD oil, not marijuana, but still. Those are offenses that get you expelled. And fighting doesn't necessarily get you expelled, but when the fighting is bad enough to where the superintendent deems it enough to recommend expulsion, I got to figure out that the fighting was pretty bad too. And any fight on the school bus is bad because it takes away the attention of the driver from the road while they're driving, putting everybody's life in danger that's on that school bus. So, yeah, they threw 19 kids out of school for the 2021 year, 21-22 year. Okay. It's the 43rd thrown out in 60 days. The only reason this is a news story because it was 19 at one time. Nobody in this listenership, unless your kid was expelled over the last 3 or 4 years, or you were on the school board, knew about how many expulsions there were by the Marion County school system. And the only reason we know now is because 19 got thrown out on one night, which seems like a large number. But when you look at the averages over the last 5 years, it's right on track with every other year, except for the pandemic year when school wasn't held. Actions come with consequences, folks. If you're going to do things that are detrimental to the learning process, i.e. selling drugs on campus, i.e. bringing weapons on campus, i.e. fighting on school buses, if you're going to do anything that's detrimental to the process of learning, and it is deemed so detrimental that the superintendent puts you up for expulsion, I got to think that I know it's an individual case, but I got to think that that's a good move by the school board. I mean, what do you want them to do with the drug dealer that was selling dope on campus? Say, hey, give you an entrepreneurial award because you did a good job in business? What do you want them to do to somebody that brings a knife on campus? Hey, in case somebody gets a splinter, you're there. You can dig that splinter out. We're good with that. What do you want them to do to people that were fighting on a bus that's moving through traffic and everything? Hey, you got the driver to look through that rearview mirror to pay attention to you guys, so at least, they weren't just focusing on the road. What, huh? Before you think that something is wrong or something because the number is so large, none of you would even known what was happening if it hadn't been for 19 people expelled. Joe Martone went deep thoughts at the microphone.
Oh, yeah.
Joe, I just don't understand why people think this is such a crazy thing that they threw out drug dealers, people fighting on buses, and people bringing knives on campus.
It's nothing new. I grew up in Connecticut in the city, and I watched one of the most kindest men, teacher, Mr. Nunziato. He was kind. He did anyway. Someone came from off campus, quote unquote, came up and shot him.
Yeah, that wasn't even a student.
No, it was a student from.
But he came off campus, off campus.
From another thing, for $3 and some odd cents, because what he did to help the students in between classes, he had a little corner. He used to sell pencils and stuff to help his.
So they robbed him for the petty cash, for the $3 and something.
And apparently he says, no, what? I only got bang. And it's like.
And that was back in the 1960s.
Yeah, late 60s, yeah.
So this is not anything new.
We had a riot. We had a racial riot.
The only reason they bring this up, the only reason this made the news, is because it was 19 kids expelled at one time. It's the only reason.
That's just numbers. That's just
That's
numbers.
all it is. Speaking of numbers,
Yeah.
the clock says it's time to take a break.
Well, then let's do that.
We're going to take a break. We'll come back, get you into hour number 3 of Ocala Talks. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. This is WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.